Hi, how you doing? It's Jeff Sinker back again with what I would see as one of the all-time classic songs, Owner of a Lonely Heart by Yes. Great song. Really, to me, when I first heard it, just got the hairs on the back of the neck, just tingling. Such contrast to the way it was played and the effects in the studios to be recorded in them days. What Trevor Rabin did as the producer on that record just is stunning. Now, it is such a complex song, and I really wanted to do this song justice. So what I'm doing on this, I'm going to be teaching this lesson, and I'm going to be covering the majority of the song, so you can just play it through. But because there are so many different guitar overlays in this, what I've decided to do is put the full version onto my premium channel, where we can really get into the different sounds. Now, on the first lesson, here, what you're going to be watching today is looking at some of the ways that Trevor Rabin plays this when he's playing live. But on the premium channel, we'll be looking at a number of the different sounds and the overdubs that Trevor used in the studio. Also, the guitar solo, because it is quite complex in the way it's been playing. Again, I wanted to go a little bit more in depth in that. And also because you've got to be using a pitch shifter to get the sound. So that is going to be on the premium channel as well. That way I can really give it more justice than the time limitations that we get here. But what I'll be showing you does cover the vast majority of the songs. But if you just wanted to get a bit more in depth, then you need to go to the premium channel, which the link will be down below. Also, we are going to be looking a little bit more about the different sounds that have been used as well on that channel. And I am putting together, which to me is one of my best backing tracks I've done so far. I have got some of the original stems that was used by Yes, and I have mixed them into the backing track that I've created. So the backing track contains all of them great little orchestrations that was done with the keyboards, and of course you've got Ian Anderson singing in the background. So it really is fun to play along with. So that will be on the premium channel as well, so it's well worth checking it out. And of course there's lots of other things on that premium channel, so if you haven't done so already, do click on that link and go and check it out. Anyway, I'm going to shut up at this point. Enough talking from me. Let's get in and let me show you how to play Owner of a Lonely Heart. So don't go away.
Preview.
Okay, let me show you how to play that classic intro. It's just one of them, as soon as you hear it, you just know what's coming next. So I'll just play it through and then I'll show you how to put this together. Right, let's just look at the way that we are playing this. Now, of course, on the studio track, Trevor Rabin played with the sound on the guitar for the first opening sections of this. Then he went back into a full in-your-face guitar sound. Now, I'm just playing it through as normal, just so you can hear it. How to get that effect, I'm still looking into it. But with this day and age, with profilers, you possibly can get that sound, but it's as though he just flatlined the EQ on the bottom end. There was just nothing on the bottom end of the EQ. He was just totally out of it. But I'm just going to keep it a standard one here. Right, we start off with the A, B, C as a slide. Hold the chord and then slide back out. Down to the G, which is you hit the G and then the 5 chord together. We go back. Now this time you mute. You don't let it linger. So it's just... Then we go... Now this time there's no slide. So you got that... Back to the chord. Then we got this little riff, which comes in on the third beat of the bar. So you're doing that. And then after you've played that, which is the 4 and 1, 2, you've got the riff, which is just a 3-5, cross over the string, 3-5-3, and then back to 5-3. Now, when I play this, I just play it as hammer-ons. I just pick the first note and then play that through. So now let's look at the chorus section that is played. So now let's look at the clean guitar that is played through the verses. So I'll just play it through and then we'll break it down stage by stage. Okay, bit of a fun arpeggio sequence, this one. So let's just take it, a little bit easy, just showing you all the various parts that we've got to do on this one. So what I would suggest first of all is build up this shape that you're going to be playing through. So I'm just holding down 5 fret from the D string down, and I'm putting down my 3rd finger on the 7th fret on the G string. And the first part of the sequence that we're going to play is an open A string. Then we go across to that 7th fret on the G string. Then we move across to the D string. And then we're going to work down the strings from the B string to that 7th fret. So far we've got. Now, this is where it gets a little bit tricky. We've got to pick up our 3rd finger and we're going to fold it down 7th fret on the D string to 7th fret on the A string, and then we're going to slide up and then play it on 9th fret. So we would get. That's the way I'd learn that first part. The next part, again, this one that's a little bit tricky because of the movement of the fingers. You're going to play the open D string, and then you're going to put your finger onto 7th fret on the D and the G string, and you're going to play the 7 on the G and 7 on the D. Then you're going to put your finger on to the 10th fret of the A string, playing the open D again, and then you're going to play that 7 and 7 on the G and D, and then finish with your little finger back on that 10 on the A. So that last part, after you've moved up that slide, you get. Then we're back to. And that is the sequence, the arpeggiated sequence that is played through these verse sections, and it's played completely through, just one after the other. There is also a mute that you're going to put on that, just to kind of keep it separated. So it just keeps it that kind of arpeggiated staccato feel. Now, as far as the sound that I'm using for this, obviously I've got a clean guitar. I'm using my middle pickup. It's kind of a nice kind of sound that I'm looking for there. I do have a phaser on it. Now I'm using, because I use everything with my 11 right, I've got my phaser, which is a typical standard phaser, just off and on the phase. And I've set it about, if you're looking at the dial on the phase, I've got it about 11 o'clock. I also do have a delay that's set up that's playing on an 8th note interval, but not too much. I don't want it overriding the sound. So you just hear that playing that, and that's playing on an 8th. I've set it to sequence against that. So also got a bit of reverb on there as well, just to. But with that phaser, that just adds that little bit to the sound that we are playing through on that verse section. So through the verses, that's where we're going to play. Now it does open just before we go into the verse, just before Ian Anderson starts singing. Trevor Rabin opens up with 2 bars of that riff, and then Ian Anderson starts singing. Now for the chorus section, I'm going to show you what Trevor Rabin plays on the live version of the song. In the premium channel, I'm going to break down the different ways that he plays this in the studio, because in the studio there are 2 guitars. In fact, I believe there's 3 guitars on it. Yes, there's 3 guitars on that, playing different parts. One of them is actually playing harmonics, but live he doesn't do that. He keeps it pretty much centered around what the bass is playing. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to play it and then just show you how to do it. Okay, that's what he's playing on the live version of the song. I said it's different on the studio version. This one's quite easy. So if you are playing the song together, you want to learn it and play it all the way through, this is probably the easiest thing to do. So all I'm doing, I'm mimicking the power chords that we played at the beginning. So I'm playing on the A string, I'm doing open to the 2 to the 3. And then finishing on the D. And then I get a D sus2 chord, which is just a D with my second finger raised. So I'm just playing 2 and 3 on the G and the A. And I'm just going to go down. I'm just playing E, B, G, E, B, G. In fact, he doesn't play that last G, he just plays the E. Just plays the 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then back. So that's how he handles the chorus on the live version. Now we're into verse number 2. In verse number 2, Trevor Rabin plays the intro riff through the verses. So you would get this. That gets played through, that's what Trevor's doing. But also in the studio album, you have got a mixture of that guitar playing and then also the arpeggiated verse, which is verse 1. So we've got a mixture. Verse 2 is arpeggiated verse 1, but with the rock guitar, the power overdrive guitar over the top. Live, he just plays the rock guitar. The keyboards help with the arpeggiated. You've got Rick Whitman will play that over the top. And from there, we go back into a normal chorus, which you've already looked at. And then we have the bridge section, which is what we're going to check out now. Now, the bridge section, again, I'm going to be looking at the live version. So what he's just playing here, and he's playing down on the downbeat. He's just playing on the count. 1, 2, 3, 4. He's just playing through an A chord for 1 bar. Then he moves up to a C chord for half a bar. And then we move down to a G chord, but we play it as though we were using the Cade system. We play it like a C shape. So I've gone from the C, put my bar across 5 fret, and then I'm going to put my 3rd finger on D9, and my 2nd finger goes on to B8. So we get, there's your G, so it's A, C, G, A, C, that's how you handle the bridge. Just keeps on playing through, just using them 3 chords, which of course gets featured later in the song as well. And from the bridge, we now have got the build up to the guitar solo, which is all drums and keyboards and special effects. We then enter the solo section. Now, nothing is being played through as far as the guitars, apart from Trevor Rabin on the guitar. Now, I'm going to be covering the solo in the premium channel because it's quite complex and we've got to talk about the sound settings on there as well. Right, what I wanted to show you is just what you can play behind the guitar solo. You've got to follow the line that's played by Chris Squire on the bass, and we're just basically just playing the main intro riff. So once it starts into the solo, because you've got all them effects running in and that kind of screaming thing that Ian Anderson did, then you're just going to run through this. So you're just following that A, B, C, up to the D, back down onto the G. The only difference is you keep going to the G on this section. It doesn't have that break which you do in the normal playing. And just to finish it off, you just go, just hold on the D. So we're going to look at the way Trevor Rabin plays the exit from the guitar solo. It's very similar to the verses, but in this one he's letting the sound of the strings ring out more, so he plays it slightly different, allowing him to do that. So I'll just play it through, and again I'll show you how to do it. Okay, what we're doing there, we are starting off in the same shape, and we start the sequence off the same as we did in the verse. I'm playing open A string, then I'm playing with my finger down going to the 7, then I go back to the D string, then I go to the B string and come all the way down, B, G string still on the 7, and then, now this time I don't move my finger, I go back because he's letting it ring out. Go back to the 5, and then I do an open A string. So far. Now from here, he's sliding in to the 9th with his 3rd finger, and then we pick up our little finger, he's going to play 10 on the low E string. First finger then, he's going to come down across and double stop on the 7, on the G and the D. Play the 7, 7. Little finger then picks up 10 on the A string. And then I'm going to go on the 7, 7, I'm going to go D, G, D. So what I'll do, I'll play it nice and slow for you so you can follow that through. So that is the part that Trevor is playing through the exit from the solo, and then we go into a chorus section. Play that again, so we're covering the same ground as we've done before. From that, then we go back into the bridge section, which starts off with that A, C, and also then to the G chord. Now that plays quite a considerable amount of time, but then we've got towards the end of the song a change in the chord that he's playing, so we'll just go and check that out. So the bridge, he's playing that A, C, G. Then what he does, he switches to an F. Now what he does, he plays his F chord here across the 7 and 9 fret. Then he moves across to a G chord for the 2 bars, and then all you got to do is just raise your finger and just play through the middle 3 strings to play your D, to play a D chord. So it's E, G, D, E, like that, and that is played on the guitar all the way to the end of the song. Well, we've come to the end. We've covered the vast amount of the different lines that have been played in this song by Trevor. Of course, various parts are going to be on the premium channel for you, but what we've covered here is more than enough to get you playing through the song. There's more than enough to practice and learn to play on this. It's quite a challenging song with the different arrangements that you've got to go through. But if you want to have some fun with it, do step across to that premium channel, and if you decide to enroll, you've got access to all of the different parts of this lesson, and of course that backing track that I'm talking about, which you have heard me play through just at the beginning. Anyway, I'm going to let you go. It's been great having your company as usual. But until the next time, this is Jeff Sinker wishing you well. I'll speak to you soon. Till then, goodbye.